What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the garage. And all my settings kind of got messed up over last weekend, so everything's really dark for some reason. What's going on? Yeah, welcome, to the number one live tuning show in this universe. We're under litigation with all the other universes to say we're the number one of all time across all universes. I'll let you know how that goes. Now let me see if I can figure out why this looks like doo-doo. Well, I'll just do this. I don't know. I don't care. Good enough. Good enough. You can see me. You can see me. What's going on, everybody? What up? What up? Keone, hello from Hawaii. Hey, Andrew. Who else we got in here? Cole, Colton, Jerry, Scuba Sam and James, Redline, Alex, Jim Bob, Seth, Brian, Chevy for Life as usual, Andrew, 1988. What's going on, everybody? I've been busy at work. Busy at work. Hey, Shane. So I haven't got much done this week. Yeah, so Brian had the issue where, refresh my memory, Brian, where it was saying that it couldn't detect the ECU or something like that. And sometimes the MPVIs do that for some reason. They just have to replace it. It's kind of annoying. I mean, it's not very common, but it does happen. Yeah, it's... Thanks, WS6 Handyman. I haven't really played around with that much. Good morning, Andrew. What's going on, brother? Well, I went to install the expansion tank Tuesday, I think it was, and I cut one of the radiator, or one of the intercooler hoses too short, so... No Rocky Mountain Race Week 2.0 for me. We were talking about possibly trying to get in to do it, but because the registration got all messed up on that stuff, Tommy, they literally said that if you weren't on the registration, don't bother. They're not going to take anybody off the wait list this year. So 1988, keep us posted, man. Get some good times. Sure, Redline, shoot. I'll try and answer. Well, it does have all that rubber on it, Andrew. So, I think if the weather's nice, I'm going to do meth injection on the Z06 this weekend. Get it knocked out. Start tuning on it. IATs on that setup is so high. Dude calls to get his cam to LQ94 L60E swapped and Impala SS tuned. Previous tuner kit. You're right. It said 600 flips. Tuner did math only. I said I do both. Flip the bird virtually. At 600? Hey, Holly. Dude. If he's flipping at 600, he's just going to have to live life with a bad car because that's a reasonable price for a MAF VE tune. How are you connecting, Brian? Are you doing the ProLink or are you doing the serial to USB? Hey, Dad, be careful driving. Brian, go into your device manager and make sure that your serial to USB device is the only COM port that's showing up. That usually is what it is. Yeah, but guys in the area are super cheap because they're doing math-only tunes. Okay, TJ. I'll get to it. I saw your emails. I got tied up at work today. How's that MPVI 2 Plus? I like it. I like the positive screw-on connection on it. I got the wideband hooked up in the Z06 and I use CAN bus. And I'll go over what you've got to do to get the CAN bus, like an AEM CAN bus signal to work on that thing because You can't just wire the CAN bus up directly and expect it to talk. Ah, good to know, Redline. Yeah, good to know. It's very interesting, though. HP Tuners, as smart as all those guys are, they don't want to have anything to do with helping people tune. That's why they team up with people like me. I've done a video on transient fueling. Dallas, I can't remember, but it's probably time to do an updated video on transient fueling. No, Brian, it should be showing up as just whatever that, generic serial to USB connector is as COM, 2, 3, or 4, something like that generally. If there's more than one COM port being listed when that's plugged in, it's probably grabbing one of the other ones. Chris, I have a question. Do I have to mod anything in the tune, the fuel system, if I go to the Walbro fuel pump? No. Generally not on the fuel pump side of things. Depending on the setup. Is this, what year is it, Chris? Is it a returnless setup? Or is it one that has a fuel pump controller? Like, there's a lot of questions that go through that, but for the most part, no, because all of the fuel tuning is based off of fuel pressure or delta pressure, and so it doesn't really care. Yeah, right, Cole? How are you going to spend all that? That's what I always give people that want to spend money on the hard parts, but not pay for a tune. Spend $2,000 for a set of headers. You should be fine. Chris, should be fine. Fuzzy Moto, do I have a preferred brand of water meth kit? Well, obviously, Snow Performance. Big shout out to them since they're a sponsor. But I actually, do love their equipment, so I'm not going to complain. I like their Stage 2 and their Stage 2.5, depending on if you want to gauge or not. Meth, depending on the Silverado, I mix my own. On something like the Corvette, I'll run blue windshield washer fluid. Because I don't need a high concentration of methanol on that. I just need the cooling effect. Well, a few times because factory speed. Sorry to hear that you hurt your back today, brother. Hope you get on the mend soon. How important is it to tune VVE at wide open throttle below 3,000 RPM? It's dependent on whenever your dynamic airflow set point switchover is. So if you want to set that below, set to 3,000 or something to go into high speed at 3,000, it's less important. Just make sure that it's comfortably rich, Put it in the green, not like 10% rich, but like 5% rich. Nathan Vandenplas, thank you so much for all the How to Tune videos. You're welcome. Thank you for watching them. 5.3 swap day 13, 3.6 Camaro. Use HP tuners. Awesome, man. Awesome. Love to hear when somebody else has learned something new. Try wiring the serial null. That's interesting, Dallas. I don't know that I've ever had to run one null. But I mean, it's easy enough. Just switch your serial wires if you've got the one with the terminals on it. Ooh, red line. That's a good question, man. You're going to have to probably look into the ECU pinout, because you're right. The ECU supports both mass airflow and manifold air pressure. You're probably just going to have to look at the ECU pinout and find the signal return on that. And depending on if it's a 5-volt sensor, which it probably is, you'll have to tap into a 5-volt and then a sensor ground. So get an ECU pinout, look at it. And it gets really off into the weeds then, because you'll probably have to figure out the pin size to be able to add a pin to the ECU connector. You think it's necessary to upgrade from the MPVI 2 to the MPVI 2 Plus? Nope. Leery of HP Tuners, fear the EPA and that 4.10 software. I wouldn't worry about it, honestly. Dirt Floor, good luck this weekend. Or did you already go race? I saw you posting a new video. I hadn't got a chance to see it. Give us the results. What else would be required to modify? You just got to go into the tune and turn it on. Will short-term, long-term affect PE at all? There are maybe a couple ECUs that will carry forward the last long-term, but for the most part, no, Cole. It's you're an open loop, so it's turning that off. Milky Who, you got to elaborate. Well, will a stall converter on a 4L60 cause no first gear? No. If you've got other gears, but you don't have first gear, it's not a stall converter. And depending, it could be a solenoid issue. .6L80 going through the traps in 5th and slams into 4th when letting off throttle. Yeah. I would look at your downshift versus throttle position on the 5th to 4th, and it might be speed. But you have both throttle and speed generally on there. Look at it and just soften it up where it's not shifting at such a high speed. Make the speed come down more before it shifts from 5th to 4th on low throttle. TJ with 94 credits, man. It's crazy. Hey, Musk, welcome to the family, brother. What do you mean, what's GRG? You know what GRG is. What cereal? Frosted Flake or Apple Jacks? Apple Jacks. Yeah, it's a lot of the times the COM ports, you've got virtual COM ports on there and it can grab those virtual COM ports. Generally, once you get them off of there, you don't have an issue anymore. Oh, speaking of which, we do have a forum now. If you go over to the website, GoRopeGarage.com, look at the top. There's a link over to the forum. If you haven't signed up, sign up. I haven't had much time to spend on there, but a lot of people are there already. Any real benefits having the MPVI2 Plus over the MPVI2? You know, the bandwidth, but the OBD2 doesn't support it. So as newer cars come out, James, there's a chance that you're going to get faster read-write times. But for the majority of the stuff that you're working on, it's not going to make a difference. Right now, my Miata is at 600 horsepower. How much can I push it? Small, stock bottom M53 E85, ARP head studs, LS9 gaskets, comp springs, push rods, 317 heads, 14 PSI, 16 degrees timing. Stock bottom end, you're probably right at the limit right there, Speedhouse. Oh, no boost controller, so I sprung the gate, but it didn't have enough. Ah, you tuned up the car that beat you. There you go, yeah. Well, was he on a 6L80? Yeah, get the Blue Cat Trans Tool stuff. Yeah, there you go, Jay Thompson. Grab the Blue Cat Trans Tool. You might have to search a little bit to find it. Somebody probably needs to find that and go over to my forum and post it somewhere on there. Yeah, Joe, that's the whole reason. I just don't want to deal with Facebook. So, people have been asked to set up a forum. So I went ahead and did it. Which time do you usually run high compression NALS3? I mean, you're going to be looking, I don't know, you're going to start at 26. You can go up to, who knows? Push it. Really, when it comes time, it said we got to get on a dyno and see where it maxes out on power. What up, DZ? Factory, yes, I do. I am, well, I used to do automation stuff. Now I'm just a supervisor, so I supervise people that do automation stuff. Thanks, James. What are you using it on that you're trying to adjust shifts, pressures, or shifts parameters that has map pressure, Brandon? I really wish Blue Cat was still around supporting that stuff. Damn, he's been over here doing 4200 Atlas. Sweet. Oh, you're using the Holly stuff. Okay, thanks, Jim Bob. I'll try to remember and jump on there and sticky it or something. Don't have a wideband. Trying to get my car at least drivable. Best method of attack. Fuel trims. Use short-term, long-term fuel trims, man. I got a video out there on it, Chance. But you'll also have to listen to me say multiple times that you should really do this with the wideband. Stay out of wide open throttle till you get your wideband in there. I'm actually going to do, I think, this weekend, or next week maybe, look at tuning with both fuel trims and a wideband at the same time and see about setting filters up and mishmashing the data together. Yeah, shoot factory. What's your question? As I said, when changing the map to a 3-bar, do I take the MAF out altogether? No. No, you can leave the MAF in there. What section? Let's see here. That's a good question. You guys have any suggestions for sections and stuff like that? I know everybody's been wanting to buy sell stuff. Doop 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 doop. There you go. It's in the general section. Blue Cat download link. Thank you. Thank you. Perfect. 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 And see if we can just how do I pin this? Actually, I probably need to go back and do it this way. I'm not sure how to use my own forum yet. I'll figure it out one of these days. Oh, moderate topic. There we go. Pin. Bingo. Congratulations, you are the first pinned topic on our forums. Yay. Okay. Just so you know, forcing the SCs, you probably go away, so I haven't used all my tools and I'm in the box. Oh, okay, TJ. Converter victims? What are you talking about, Andrew? Ah, Justin's on here. Oh, I need to look at your tune. I forgot that you sent me one. You gotta remind me. I was tied up today, though. So, it's a busy day. A lot of impoundments. Hello, Dan. So undercharge bias, yes. Okay. So your TA is going super lean when IATs are over 100 degrees, but you might want to bias that section. I'm guessing this is at lower throttles, Tim. You're going to want to bias that towards ECT in that area. So just adjust that area up. As you have more airflow, though, you want to bias more towards IAT. But IAT is really dependent on air moving through at a decent rate. So if you're idling, you want more bias towards ECT. Besides tuning VVE, math, and timing, what areas should I focus in on the tuning process? That's really dependent on your platform that you're on, whether or not you need to get into things like torque tuning and stuff like that. But those are the big three, and then if you're on an automatic transmission, play around with your transmission some. Just don't go crazy. Tuner says to stay away from meth because the injection is inconsistent. Your thoughts? He's wrong. You know, I run probably about as much meth injection as anybody, especially nowadays that I've got that direct port 8 nozzle setup on there. And even before that, I was running a 2 nozzle setup that was shooting a lot. I was going through a lot of injection. And you can look at the data, look at your airflow data whenever you're in open loop and see that it is consistent. I've not had any consistency issues. And honestly, if he's having consistency issues, it may be the meth kits that he's been dealing with. Yes, we have a former, TJ. Gen 3 smash throttle quickly from a dead stop. Timing drops to -5. Ooh, I'm not sure off the top of my head what that could be, Dan. Log your modifiers and see what's going on. Make sure that you're not getting into some weird knock or something there, or at least false knock. Okay, the latest version of Blue Cat tool supports 10 speed, so he has updated it. But he disappeared, yeah, after HPT did their VVE editor. Did they buy it? I don't think that they necessarily bought it from him, James. I think that may have been part of the reason why he disappeared. Cole is probably the sensor on that one, but check your wiring. Sounds like it could be a wiring issue whenever you get in some kind of boot loop like that on AEM gauge. It says AEM gauge got stuck in a boot loop. I want to say last time mine did that, I had a melted wire. Went from 566 to 614 adding headers. Good to know. My headers are on order. What's going on, Eric? Tuner lock the ECM. I can't do anything if I get the code besides replacing the ECM. You don't have to replace the ECM super slow, but you will need to overwrite the ECM. So you're not going to be able to get that off of there. So you don't see knock. Okay, so what's happening, Dan, most likely is, let me open up a tune here, and you said this is a Gen 3. And this is going to be an air mass situation. Because that's a good question. No, cancel this. Wideband reading there stoic, but EQ math error shows adding a lot of air like it's running linear. It is. VVE way off. Will that affect it in math only mode? Yes, Jonathan, watch my latest video where I talk about dynamic airflow and it'll explain to you exactly why. Which is why it's important to tune VE. So let's see here. Documents, 3rd gen. Let's look at, it's probably not the best one to look at being as a GTO. So if you look underneath your timing, and I'm talking to Dan here, in your high octane, look at your air mass, follow your air mass, and you can see even at low RPMs, and this is probably a little bit different. You might see yours has negative timing out further to the right than this even. But whenever you're stomping out from a dead stop, you're probably getting down into this range, and that's why you're seeing negative timing. Should be just momentary. I wouldn't go necessarily crazy about raising that stuff up too much, but you can try. See you, TJ. Andrew. 04 SSR. Sweet. Yeah, that's probably exactly what's going on. You're just getting a ton of air mass on there, so it's going into that area of the table that's seldom used. You might be able to do it with the stock file. I've never had to deal with it. Maybe I should lock one of these up and try it out super slow, but you could also use SPS and just put the VIN in and write a new one. And then, as said, on certain ones, there is a pin that you can short out. Yeah, Andrew, if you put it up on the forum, make sure and put a disclaimer on there not to use it to actually try and tune with. Because it's kind of broke. I don't know if that'll even work anymore on that. But I don't want people to try to use the EQ to VE software. Because it worked great back in the day, but once you stopped supporting it, it started having issues. What up, FCT? Well, Dan, that it could also be, I don't know, it's probably not torque. It could just be traction control. Go in there and check your traction control and make sure that it's not activating timing pull on traction control, because that could be it also. So go over to underneath the engine all the way to the right and look at your maximum torque values and raise them up. Yeah, I know, Daniel. We've been fighting Justin's Dodge here. We're going to get some more into it here soon, and then I'm going to do some stuff. Yeah, but I wouldn't go crazy about bump timing up in that area. Because theoretically, if you do have that much cylinder air mass at that low of an RPM, you don't want to advance the timing a whole lot because of the speed that the piston's moving. It can be an issue. Yeah, Daniel, we're really kind of just sorting out some of the details on the VE side of tuning Dodge right now, which I found a couple interesting things. And then after that, we may look into neural networking. Ugh, I hate it when people lock ECMs. Try tuning VVE. Each time I input corrections, it would get leaner. Is it a math error or something in the tune not forced off? I would lean, Jonathan, I'd probably lean more towards a math error, because honestly, if it were something in the tune that was not forced off, it should change very minutely, if not at all. So if for some reason you were still running on the mass airflow sensor and you went to the VVE table because of filtering and you added a lot of fuel in the VVE table, so you add 20%, you may only see a 2% increase because of dynamic airflow. You're not going to see the full 20% on that side of it. It is going to shift it a little bit, but the averaging between mass airflow and volumetric efficiency based on the weighting is going to determine how much it actually affects it. If it's going the opposite way, if you're adding fuel and it keeps on getting leaner, it sounds like something may be wonky on the math side of it. And just look at your base data and see, hey, I'm commanding 1 lambda and I'm getting 1.05 or whatever, so I'm 5% lean. Look at the output of the math in that section and see if it's showing that you're 5% lean and that it wants to add 5% to enriching it. After doing the stage 2 cam upgrade on LS1, should I bump up anything before cranking to get smoother break-in first start? Saxon 25, I'd probably go into your cranking VE and drop it down to about 85% and then send it from there. Well, all the integrations on EQ to VE don't work anymore as far as I know. So it used to be really cool because you could basically open your tune file up, click a button, and it would pull all your tables out. And it did a way better job than the HPT one does of adjusting zone transitions and stuff like that back in the day. And so your changes worked a lot better using EQ to VE than the VVE editor. And that's just because Blue Cat's a wicked smart bro and spent a lot of time of optimizing that stuff. Totally. If you're like 30% off, take 20% out as a start and check. Yeah, exactly. Automatic zone boundaries were awesome because it took all the guesswork out of having to adjust zone boundaries. Now we have to do all that manually. I don't know about the EFI Live stuff. Somebody might be able to chime in here. They may have a little bit of zone boundary assistance in their software, but I do like the way that they outline it because their VVE editor, while you're editing the numbers, will actually show you the zones, so you don't have to switch back and forth between views. You can actually see where your zone boundaries are while you're editing it. Yeah, that dude changed 4th generation tuning. He alone. Like, everybody was just attacking the PE table or doing math-only tunes back then. Then he brought that out, and it changed the game. I remember it distinctly. It was like, whole new ball game. What's going on here? People finally doing this right. It was cool. it was sweet. Okay. So if VVE is that off, force into SD and tune VVE for tackling math. Honestly, probably not a bad idea. You can still tackle math just whenever you get done with VVE. Make sure you go back and redo math because it's going to be off a little bit more. Either way, you're going to have to go back and forth. So if your VVE is that far off and you do speed density first, do your VVE first, then do math, you're going to have to go back and double check your speed density because it's going to be off a little bit still. So that's just going to be the way that I tell people to do it nowadays, is whatever you start with, go back to it after you do the other one to get a truly good tune going. Now, honestly, at the end of the day, if I'm doing a tune that's pretty quick and decent, I'm going to probably knock out VVE first, and I'm going to get it to the safely rich side. Like if I get it all into the green in that 5% rich range, I'm going to forget about it and go over and do mass airflow and dial it in better on mass airflow and not worry about going back to VVE because it's going to be decent over there enough. And then I'll lower the dynamic airflow switch point down to 3000 or so to get into high speed quicker. And then on top of it, closed loop's going to make up any differences on the stuff whenever you're VVE heavy. So whenever you're relying on that for the majority of your fueling, you're also going to be in closed loop, which is going to bring things in nice. But okay, listen, it is 8:31. It means it's about time for my bedtime. Tomorrow's Friday. I got a lot of work to get done. I'll answer Joseph's last question. No, Jonathan, if you're lean, you add to it. Let's see. I recently did a cam swap earlier this year. Got the tune sorted out. Thanks to the video. It was awesome. Only thing I'm struggling with now is the car wanting to die after pushing in the clutch sometime. Joseph, check your base idle airflow. Make sure that that is set up right. You're probably a little bit low on it, and it's allowing your idle to dip down too low. I got some videos on that out there, but look for the base idle airflow. It's a good place to start. Remember, if you are adding to the graph, you are adding air, which in turn adds fuel. Okay? So listen, ABT, you guys know the drill. Thanks for stopping by the garage. And I said ABT already, but ABT, always be tuning.